Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Thursday, September 15th, 2022, and tonight I'll be covering paranormal news. As always, you can find all of the episodes of the podcast, along with links to social media, ways to donate, and ways to contact me at the podcast page, which is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions, or if you have stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. And so this is the last show of this week. Next show will be on Sunday. More true paranormal stories from the web. And I think that covers everything. I will announce more of even though it's not going to be that different of a schedule, but the schedule for next week's shows next week. So, thank you all for listening, whether you make it to the live streams or not, or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds. I never expect anyone to be here for the live streams or even really to listen to the other feeds, but so I appreciate everyone that listens as much as you do. Recently passed the 3,300 total downloads mark on the podcast feed. So, really amazing there. So I will get right into these stories. I have a mix of UFO sightings and a couple of haunted places to talk about. So, and it's funny. I think I've already decided what I want to talk about in these little in the little episode preview video that I do, audio video that I do, and that is, isn't it amazing how now, if you look, probably not even that hard anymore. I don't think you have to even look that hard. You can find stories like this on the web, just about everywhere, and I think it really is amazing. Of course, there's always going to be different levels of um, skepticism and even ridicule in some cases, and or belief or whatever. But just the fact that these are actually being put out there, to me, is a very, very good thing. And so, yeah, I'm just glad that these stories are coming out, and they're easier to find, I think, than they may have they may have been before. And I like that all these stories tonight are from news outlets or media outlets, not necessarily just from organizations that are researching all this or any kind of government um, programs or anything like that. It's neat that they're all from basically from media companies. So anyway, I just wanted to toss that in there in the beginning, and so I will get right to these. Of course, I always share all the links in the stream chat and also in the episode description, so you can all check out the articles and read them completely on your own time, because I just kind of skim over them and touch on the major points of interest there in these articles. So, this first one is from East Oregonian. I'm not sure how you say that for sure. .com, and this one says UFO spotted near Pendleton. And let me just invert the colors real quick. Okay, that's better. So let's see here. This one talks about a sighting on Sunday, September 4th, so not too long ago, less than 2 weeks, by a man with the last name of Davenport, who was driving east on Interstate 84 from Pendleton and saw a big glowing object in the sky. And he said that he was taking his girlfriend to work at 6:30 a.m. And so he turned and to his girlfriend and said, "Look, there was a UFO in the sky." So I'm guessing that means she saw it as well. It said the object was moving, although it looked stationary in the beginning. And apparently it was metallic, but it was also reflecting the sunlight from the morning. Now it says that at some points, the reflection was almost blinding. So I wonder if that's just because of the angle, or if it was also emitting its own light at times. Uh, Here's something. There was a jet traveling in the same direction as the object. Uh, and says that Davenport said that compared to the UFO, it looked like the jet was not moving. Of course, it would be because it's a jet. It's not going to be staying still, as far as I know, anyway. Um, and then apparently this object took off in a straight line before it started a series of, it says, corkscrewing turns as it flew away. Um, and mentions that it was moving at high speeds, and so it was there, and then it was just gone, and then nothing. Took off basically with it out of sight within a few seconds. So yeah, that's really, it was moving northeast, and so then it talks about the major UFO reporting organizations and all that. Uh, um, Also, there is a just in case anyone is following along or whatever, there is one of the directors. The director for one of these agencies also has the last name of Davenport, but it's not the same. Not the same person and not related, according to the article. So, um, apparently, this area, it says in the article, is not. Um, there weren't any reports in this area for that time, so that's something. I always wonder about that. What's more interesting? Is it when there's tons of reports or when there's no reports? So anyway, neat little sighting there, and has I believe it has pictures and different things like that. Unless they're ads, I'm not sure. But check out the article for the full details and full story, and let me know what you all think. So, that's the first article. I have 3 of these UFO sighting articles, and then 2 articles about reportedly haunted places tonight. So, I found these all tonight through automatic alert systems that I have set up on my email. So some of these are from like 2 weeks ago, around there. But anyway, this next one is from, let's see here, uh, khmoradio.com. And this one says, let's see here. Let's find the title. Okay. It says, watch triangular UFO disappear into Illinois thunderstorm clouds. And this is also something really I find fascinating, in that, do these different craft, do they have connections to weather? Do they use weather, not even just in terms of hiding within the clouds, but is there more to it than that? Do they somehow use the energy within clouds to do things? Um, so apparently there was a video caught and shared to the web that talks about or that shows a triangular craft that takes off through the clouds and into space. And apparently this was taken near Pekin, Pekin. I'm not sure how you say that exactly, Illinois. And the description on this YouTube video says there was a triangular shaped object that looked like it was hovering, and then ascended up into the clouds. And apparently there were multiple witnesses to this, because there were 3 people there that they were all family members that came outside to see the storm that had passed through the area. And there was a second front moving through. And so that's how they managed to see this object. And they saw it go through the clouds. So basically up into space, apparently is what they think. Um, and of course the video has been slowed down in some cases to make it easier to see the object. But really, really neat sighting there. I really like that I found these 3 sightings. So and basically in one news show, sometimes you can go, I can go 2 or 3 shows without finding a sighting, or I'll just find one, and I'll usually save it unless I really am not finding any other stories. And but this time there's 3. So and this article is from. Let me see if I can find the date. I'm not seeing it automatically here, but still, it's from within the last couple weeks or so, as far as the article goes. So probably around that time as well for the sighting. And these things that take off into space are really amazing to me, because that seems to indicate it's not as likely to just be a drone or a plane. Again, I'm no expert in any of that, especially in terms of how things operate in the sky, but just seems to make sense there. So another neat sighting. And I have one more. This is from KOOL1079.com. I'm guessing it's a radio station of some kind. And this is from Wisconsin. And let's see here. The title of this story is, I'm not sorry, not Wisconsin. Another W state, Wyoming. Wyoming UFO encounter says, I don't know what that means. Maybe I mean witness. Says object shot straight up into the sky. So another one of these that just goes straight up. So apparently this was earlier this year, and a witness saw a bright object that suddenly shot straight up into the sky. And this is a report. This was reported to the National UFO Reporting Center, also known as NUFORC, I believe. This was reported in March of this year, and occurred back in January. And it's in Wyoming. So it says the eyewitness testimony word for word, they say. And I'll just paraphrase here. Apparently there was a dome-shaped green light that shot straight up into the sky. The witness was driving westbound on I-80 between Rollins and WAMSUTTER. Wamsutter? I'm not sure. And they were looking into the sky, the western sky, saw a fairly large dome-shaped green light appear in the western sky, and within seconds, it just shot straight up into the sky. And so let's see here. Just checking out more of the article. And okay, so there's more. There's a big space in the middle of the article. So mentions that there wouldn't be very many other light sources in the area because it's out in the middle of the country. And so mentions that there could be space junk, but it's not usually going to come or go up. It'll come down, possibly, but not up. And same with meteors, the article says. So neat sighting. and the article there about that. So, and apparently there have been other sightings in the area. Um, Orbs, bright lights, spheres, and spaceships. Um, over the last 20 years, apparently they have a link here to the that National UFO Reporting Center for that area. So neat little another interesting sighting there, and that takes care of that part of the show tonight. So again, these last two articles are about places that are said to be haunted. So I'm glad that I was able to find a good mix of these articles here tonight. I found these tonight just after I got up and before the show. So this next one is from 949whom.com. I think I've actually used a few stories from them before, I believe. Excuse me. This story is about, or this article is about a place in Concord, New Hampshire, and it's a restaurant. Apparently, uh, the place is called Margaritas, and it's a Mexican restaurant. So there you go. That works for me. But apparently, as well as just that, from says from 1890 to 1975, it was. Oh, that's different. So it was a former police station. Um, so that's quite the place to have a restaurant. Um, and so apparently they even have it set up where if you want to, you can reserve the former jail cells and sit there and eat in them. So that's quite a thing to do, I guess, to be able to say you've done. But I'm just trying to skip to the paranormal aspects of this place. And let's see here. Looking at the okay. So according to other reports, the place excuse me. The place has a poltergeist known as George, apparently, is supposedly the one that haunts the place. And staff there talks about how there's a story behind them, but doesn't say what that is right away here. It says that there have been reports of faucets being turned on and overflowing, um, to the point, to as well as throwing of food and furniture. That's quite the change there from the size of the object. Um, and see here. So yeah, just a place that has apparently activity in it. Um, so and that's where that article ends, and it goes right into a second one. So I will stop there. Doesn't give a ton of details, but still, you never know with these places anyway. So if you ever happen to be in that area, then you can check it out. And go from there. Um, so this last article is from Q985online.com. And this one says 11 different spirits still linger within Illinois' most haunted home. And this is about a place called the Mcpike Mansion. Uh, and it's really odd to me how these places, people claim to know who exactly is there. But, and some people even claim that there are reports of the area being having paranormal activity in it before the mansion was even made, with Native American ghosts there. It says possibly it even being an underground railroad stop. So before it was a mansion. And the place has been around since before the 1900s, apparently, or around there. Um, let's see here. So yeah, it said that there are different spirits there, and then including the original owners. Uh, so Henry and Eleanor Mcpike, former another former owner, Paul Latchinger, not sure. A young girl who is named Sarah, apparently, who smells like perfume. Um, and a woman in a green dress with long hair. So apparently that's not sure how they know that's not Mrs. McPike. But and then also some ghost children as well. It mentions that reports in the place include things like moving shadows, orbs of light, full body apparitions, sounds of children's laughter, scraping doors. I wonder if they mean they're moving along the floor and so it's making sound. I don't know. Strange mists and more. And of course, it mentions that this place has been featured in a number of media outlets and even YouTube channels. So, seems like an interesting place to visit anyway. And, but let's see here. I think, yeah, that's where that article ends. So, I just always wonder how they know what, who and what's there. Um, but, anyway, that's it for the news today, this episode. Um, they're all kind of fairly quick, easy stories to get through, but, like I said, I'm just glad that these kind of stories are still coming out, even if they're not the most detailed. It's still good to see, um, the topics being discussed anyway online. Of course, I mean, there's the motivations are always going to be different. For the companies, it's going to be money, and then, but then for the reporters, you don't know for sure. But still, really good. Uh, really glad that those articles are out there, and more and more. Again, I find these articles, variations on them, all the time, and that's a good part of what makes up these news shows. So, thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all on Sunday on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care.